Hey, what is up, Patreon peeps? It's Rich. All right, sorry, I meant to do a video yesterday, but I gave myself a full day to draw my own stuff. It was so fun. You don't understand. I never ever get a full day devoted 100% to my own work. So it was pretty cool. It was fun. I found myself though a little indecisive because I had so much time, so much freedom. So, one piece of what we're looking at a Vampire Hunter D page from issue 5. I shouldn't actually be showing this, but because it's such a small group of people, and you guys are all Patreon, and it'll be an unlisted video, it's okay. But this is what I'm going to be inking today. Ryan Benjamin pencils. This was a Kickstarter. A movie company got the Vampire Hunter D rights, and corresponding with the original creator of the book, they wanted to do a comic book series with it. And so the original penciler that was tied in, I guess, with the Kickstarter, he either got overwhelmed or I don't really know what went on, but he couldn't end up doing it. And so Ryan and I came in on issue 2, and we're doing issues 2 through 6, and then we're going back and we're doing issue 1 again. So, but yeah, I've been working on this for several months. But so what I wanted to do is I'm actually going to go back into the Marc Silvestri book that we were looking at the other day, or I guess it's the same one. Because I thought there was something important that I noticed like a day after I did the video, and I thought it was pretty telling. And this Ryan Benjamin page actually is a good example of it too. So I had mentioned like woodshedding, meaning like people that are working on their art and trying to get better at it. So there's a really interesting combination that I think that you need to have a good balance of. If you can't draw at all, then there's really no point in trying to muscle through pages. You'll hear different things like, well, might as well do pages from the get-go, but honestly, if you can't draw a face in an upshot like this, it's going to be problematic. So you want to have a pretty good foundation. What that means to you could be different than what it means to someone else, but this is what I would suggest: is get pretty good at drawing figures. Don't completely lock into just working from anatomy and figure drawing books like the nuts and bolts. It's really, really good stuff to go through and to keep returning to plug in blank spots of stuff that you don't know. But generally speaking, what I was reflecting on the Marc Silvestri stuff we looked at, it becomes really apparent quick that sitting and drawing from an anatomy book or that kind of thing isn't going to get you to the point where you're going to be able to draw pages like that. And again, it's my goal isn't to draw like Marc Silvestri, and I'm pretty sure probably most of you that's not your goal either. But regardless, if you want to draw in any style, most drawing books probably aren't going to cover all the bases for you. So I would actually recommend, I was watching while I was working, listening more than watching, but listening to different videos on YouTube yesterday, and I ended up, Will Portacio, for whatever reason, crossed my mind, and I was like, you know what? Willis worked at Wildstorm for a period of time when I was there. He wasn't there the whole time. He definitely wasn't there when I first got there, but I would say maybe 4 or 5 years later he came in. And Willis is a great teacher. I mean, he'll like talk to you for hours about art. I mean, you almost have to, like, if you go in and ask him an art question, you better be ready to like hang out for a while. But it's really cool, and I learned a lot from him. And I would always kind of like not pick his brain, but if I had things that I was sort of feeling confused by or overwhelmed by, he was always a really, really good guy to talk to it about. So anyway, so I was like, I'll check out some of the Wolves videos, and then you start seeing suggestions in the border. So I watched a Chris Claremont interview that Stan Lee did for the old comics greatest creators series or whatever it was, and that was interesting. But after that, I actually watched the Rob Liefeld one, and I've seen it before, or at least listened to it before, but Rob obviously gets heavily criticized for his work, and the reality is back then he actually was quite good, and especially for his age. Sorry, I'm going to clear my throat. I'm going to pause this for a sec. Okay, I'm back. He was really good because he was 23 years old, and he'd actually put together a pretty appealing sort of Jim Lee, Art Adams, John Byrne, like a hodgepodge of different things that he was into his stuff. But it's well worth actually checking out that video. It's on YouTube. Just look up Rob Liefeld Stan Lee. You can find it. But he talks about kind of how he sort of piecemealed his style together, and you know he would see someone do something that he liked, and he would try to learn it. And I find, even for me personally, there's no one person that I've ever found that really draws how I want to draw. So all you can really do is kind of cherry pick little things from people and try to get good at them. And generally what I found too is it's based on stuff that I'm trying to do or get good at. So I'll be sitting and grinding through whatever it is, and I'll go, like, who does this good that I really like how they do it. And a lot of times even you'll go and you'll look at the stuff that they've done. Here, I'll grab the Silvestri stuff now. And it isn't even how you remember it. Like, you may even remember it better than it is, but it still will kind of give you a footnote for it. So anyway, I thought what we do is we'll just open up to a random page and kind of look at what I'm talking about in terms of, like, okay, like, look at this panel right here. Okay, what figure drawing book is going to really prepare you to do something like this? So there's this kind of chasm between the learning part and then being able to do this. And this is Mark burning through these pages. He was doing, I think, 2 books a month at one point, just absolutely insane. But most of these are 4-panel pages, 5-panel pages, pretty big shots, minimal backgrounds. But it shows how good of a cartoonist he was. But really what you get with comics is a ton of overlapping pieces. So as bad as it is to work piecemeal in terms of learning parts of the body, I mean, it can be challenging because then when you have to put it together, it can be kind of funky. If you really look at this stuff, most of it's overlapping, and you're not going to find that in a lot of figure drawing books. That was really kind of the point of this video, is that most figure drawing books and drawing books sort of spread stuff out so you can see it good. You know what I mean? Like if they show you an arm, they kind of show it extended so you can see the anatomy better. And again, like, there's no toes on these feet. The hands in general are more suggestions of it. So at some point in your woodshedding process of trying to, and again, this deals with comic artists, like my friend James. He just likes to draw, and James could apply this to his own stuff too. What's up, James? But for comics, the thing is, because James was like, when are you going to show me some stuff? And I'm like, well, I'm working on my stuff. But the thing is you really kind of have to be able to put down a facsimile of just about anything. And it doesn't have to be perfect. That's a real nice face, actually. That Gambit's really good. But I know, based on just, pick up any comic book that you're into. Oh, that kind of looks like early Campbell. That's funny. There's quite a bit that you need to be pretty proficient at, or at least be able to sort of fake the dialect, meaning, you can draw an upshot of a face if called upon to do it, or 2 characters embracing like this, like it's a shorthand. So what I'm doing right now with my stuff is each day I work on things that I feel are weaker spots of my work, but there's a finite amount of time that I'm going to really spend on each thing, because I'm starting, like I said, it's like I can see the progress now. It's pretty apparent. I'm getting confidence in things that before I could do good, but I know that I really know them now. Like, it's not like, oh, maybe I'll hit the bullseye, maybe it'll come apart. Like, there's a solidity and a consistency to the stuff now, and that's really, really important. And again, I'm not really worried about the stuff being great. I just want to make sure that I can put down a foundation that's solid. And if you're building a house, the first houses that you build, after you've learned how to build houses, probably are not going to be as extravagant as the houses that you'll build down the road, after you've had some experience and you put some together. So I don't expect that out of myself, but at the same time, I knew that all you have to do is, Mark Texeria, is, I'm gonna find more Silvestri stuff. Mark's stuff is really cool, but it's super wild. Yeah, I mean, if you read a comic book strip or a script, almost immediately you're called upon to do something that you would never practice. So that's when that balance of having the confidence of like, oh, I've drawn Xavier in his chair. That's similar to da 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 that I need to draw. Or I'm pretty good at drawing cars, and so if I have to draw a tank or something like that, it won't be a big deal. And I don't really worry about that stuff. For me, it's more about I'm working on like facial expressions right now and making sure that I have like kind of a cool look to them, and just the things that I like. Like if I look at a page, what is it that I'm into? What am I drawn to on a page? This doesn't look like Mark either. Maybe it is. But yeah, when you can key in onto what you're focusing on, then that's kind of what you want to work on. So it's kind of fun. What I'll do a lot of times is like Mel Liefeld video as an example. Like I have no aspirations to draw like Rob Liefeld, but he mentioned John Byrne, and like I have some black and white old John Byrne stuff, and I know John Byrne was really important to Jim and a lot of the artists that I'm a fan of. The Image guys is still a fun thing for me, and then the kind of the generation that they spawned afterwards, with Campbell and Travis and everyone like that, even from different companies. I always list those guys, but Brandon Peterson was really good, Finch was really good, Mike Turner was doing really cool stuff, Joe Madureira, who wasn't even a part of that but kind of came up around that time. Lots of exciting artists. So and then there's the generation after that. But yeah, so it's fun to kind of see where they sort of how they built on that stuff. So you don't want to confuse yourself, though. I would definitely recommend, and this will be the last thing I'm going to say in this video, is have a very clear idea of what you want to go for. Very important. All right. Know what you want your stuff to look for, and then just look like and go straight at it, and it'll evolve over time anyway, naturally. But yeah, it'll make learning a lot easier because you won't be focusing on things that you think you need to know, but all right, so good luck with it. This 13 minutes, I went a little longer than I planned on, but hopefully the art sort of exemplifies what I'm talking about. I mean, again, here you're going to need to know a little bit of anatomy, but it's get it down and then get it into action. All right, have a good one. I'll probably do 1 or 2 more videos for Patreon before the end of the month. And then again, I would recommend just hold off on supporting me on Patreon until I come back to YouTube or make an announcement on Patreon of how I'm going to move forward. Because who knows, maybe it won't be Patreon, maybe it'll be YouTube, maybe it'll be Twitch, whatever. Some new thing. Vimeo. All right, later.